Hello, everyone. This is Alvin and DJ Roscoe from New Wave Radio, and this is New Wave Weekly.
Ah, right on. Episode 4, tuning out the noises, yeah? Sounds necessary, honestly. What's been bugging you the most lately, besides, everything?
There's a lot of things that are happening in the real world, and we want this episode to be really relatable. So, everyone has moments when sometimes we just need peace and quiet.
Totally. It's like the world's just a lot, and it feels like it's only getting louder? Like a constant stream of notifications and bad news. Makes you want to just build a little fort and hide out with some good tunes. What kind of stuff do you reach for when you need to decompress? Anything specific?
One of those things that I do is listen to music, and which is the reason why we have this radio station, New Wave Radio. Music plays a big part, definitely in everything that we're doing. It's pretty much the soundtrack of our lives. So depending on what mood, you could be listening to soft music, and you could be listening to hard rock, but so it kind of feels that emotion part. In a way, it does tune out the noises, the distraction that's happening around us, and music does soothe the soul, so to say.
Yeah, that is so true. It's kind of the same way. It depends on if I'm feeling mellow or need to, you know, drop a beat. What's been on repeat for you lately, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the music of Neon Gaijin, of course.
Oh, Neon Guy Jane. Right on. Good pick. That stuff just hits different? Perfect for tuning everything else up. Seriously. It's like a whole vibe.
Yes, a lot of different topics, a lot of different genres. I think the music of Neon Gaijin is a storyboard. So it does play a big part.
Totally. It's like they build a whole world with the sounds, right? Makes you feel like you're somewhere else. Okay, tuning out the noises. Hmm. Well, for me, it's about finding that one track that just clicks, gets me into a zone. What about for you? Besides diving into Neon Gaijin's discography, any other tricks for finding some peace?
Yeah. Well, the idea of first we have to identify what are the noises and what does it mean to be quiet. So I think we have to kind of reflect on that because sometimes we're not aware that these noises are noises and is pretty much destructive for our well-being. One of them is, for example, the news that's happening nowadays. I sometimes would try to distance by not watching a lot of news because it just messes up your mind. Not saying that I stop watching because we also have to know what's going on. That way, we could take actions as necessary.
It's real talk. It's easy to get sucked into like the doom scroll, but losing yourself in a good story, that's a superpower.
Yeah. So there's also the topic of online life. For example, social media. Um, so we have social media for Furry Feline to connect with our customers and with our friends. We use it as a tool of communication and sharing things that we're working on. And this is the reason why we really focus on that aspect and not really concerned of how many followers we have or how many likes you get, but it's really the impact that we could share with our stories, with our message. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I feel that. It's good to focus on making something that actually like resonates with people, not just chasing numbers, you know? That gets exhausting. So, sounds like for you, tuning out the noise isn't about completely disconnecting, but about prioritizing what actually matters.
That is actually correct. It's this whole mental chatter that's happening in your brain. Or the worries that we have, the social pressure of society. These are all things that could really mess you up. So when you tune out those noises, I think by realizing uh, that these could be distraction, I think we would have a better peace of mind.
Right. It's like recognizing what's actually within your control and letting the rest float, I guess. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for the listeners, it's about being mindful of what's draining your energy and actively choosing where you put your focus. You mentioned Muville as a kind of escape, a place without all that noise. What makes it that way?
Well, we would love to hear what your thoughts in how Mewville, or if you could share the things that that's happening in Mewville that we could all learn from.
Hmm, that's a good question. For me, for Muville just feels slower, you know? Like nobody's rushing around stressing about likes or breaking news or, it just feels like a place where people actually like talk to each other and there's always good music playing, which helps. Haha. It's kind of the opposite of the real world in a lot of ways. Does that hit the mark?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think
So
being quiet also kind of gives us clarity. I think the idea of this topic and why it's important is because it does help a lot. With furry feline creatives, having this quiet and reflection helps with our creativity. It's kind of like this whole mental reset. Sometimes we're in this rush or we're busy, but sometimes we have to step back and just kind of have this quiet time in a sense, even just for 5 minutes. Those matter, and you kind of have this calmness and reflection. In fact,
totally.
Purge is really good at this. Purge is known to be really calm.
Oh yeah? Tell me about that. What does Purge do to find that quiet space?
uh I'm pretty sure you know about this too, since you see Purge all the time, right?
Haha, yeah, you got me. As a resident of Muville, I kind of do. I think Purge often goes to the lighthouse overlooking the ocean to sketch and clear her head with the sound of the waves, right? Does that sound about right?
Yes, she does. Purge is a very artistic
Nice.
person, very artistic character. So by keeping calm helps a lot. Being creativity filled with colors. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of things we could learn from Louisville. Am I right?
Definitely. A calm mind is a creative mind, for sure. Okay, so we've got the problem, all the noise, and we've talked about some solutions, music, art, finding a quiet space like Purge. Does anything else brewing in that brain of yours? Any specific techniques people could try?
I think using our um, ideas, using our imagination to dive into the creative world does help. Just like building the world of Mewville, building the world of furry feline creatives. It does have an effect also for us, and as we build these characters, we're happy when we create these stories, and there's this sense of adventure that that we're very excited as we build their storylines. And it kind of really brings you to a different world, you know.
That's awesome. It sounds like building that world isn't just about creating something for others to enjoy, it's also a way for you to escape the noise. It's a win win, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, for the listeners tuning in, it's so for the first time. What's up? Do you want to say something specific?
Well, uh we were getting cut off on our audio, but anyway, there's this scene, to answer your question, yes, that I could picture Mewville. You know, the streets are empty, it's late at night, neon signs flickers, you know, then there's this distant music hums. You know, characters walk slowly and tuning out everything, you know. Even like Mewville, there's a lot of different characters on them, but you know, they just walk and um, feeling all the ambience. I think it's just, I could picture that right now. You know, walking uh, to the beaches, walking to the park. Yeah, sure, it could be busy and all at times, but there's this whole moment in Mewville that I could think of, a picture in my mind where the characters just all have like a peace and quiet. And I wish the real world would have this as well.
Wow, that sounds really peaceful. You can almost feel it, right? It's like Mewville isn't just a place; it's a feeling. It's a feel. I get it. A deliberate choice to focus on what's beautiful, even when things are chaotic. And you're right. We all need a little more of that.
So how do you actually find how do you find peace in quiet in your own work?
That's a good question. Honestly, for me, it's about finding that perfect synth loop and just letting it run. It kind of zones everything else out. Plus, I get to spend all day hanging out with you and thinking about Mewville, which isn't exactly a bad gig. You know, it's pretty low noise. But seriously, what about you? What specifically helps you tune out beyond building incredible worlds?
By creating worlds, actually, to answer that. So Mewville definitely has this idea of different locations, where you have the city, you have the nature. So there's different sounds, and these are all on the soundtracks as well, that you could find under Neon Gaijin and Furry Feeling Creatives playlist, um, where different location would have different sounds, and it does have this whole vibe where listening to these tunes would kind of put you in this space. Um, so it becomes this whole immersive moment when you're actually kind of writing this story, either through words or through music. So it does work together in achieving the peace that sometimes we you know we need to have. So me personally, by writing these stories, it puts me at peace as well.
That's really cool. It's like um, you're not just writing the soundtrack for Mewville. You're using it to create a headspace within yourself. That's a pretty powerful connection. It's almost like a feedback loop, right? The world inspires the music, and the music inspires the world, and then you. I dig it.
Yeah, all the noise, you know, gone, and even the thoughts that you didn't want, it it disappears. And I think we all need those from time to time. So we have to find this quiet space.
Absolutely. And it sounds like Mewville is a pretty good place to start. So, for our listeners, if you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe check out Neon Gaijin, explore the Mew Wave radio vibe, find your own little Mewville, wherever that may be. Okay, we're running a little long, but do you want to do a quick rundown of where people can find all this stuff?
Yes. Mue Radio, you could always listen to it 24/7 via the stream on YouTube, or you could also go to Neon Gaijin on different music platform, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, and so much more. And yeah, I think it's really important for us to be able to give ourselves a proper headspace where it's you know where there's peace and quiet, and that we tune out those noises.
Perfect. And for anyone who wants to dive deeper into the world itself, furryfeline.com. Explore the map, meet the characters. Thanks for tuning into Mew Wave Weekly, everyone. Hope you all found a little bit of peace today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let's say
Oh,
goodbye.
all right. Have a good one.
All right.
All right. Talk to
Bye
you
bye.
soon.
Bye.